Your friends always tell you that there are other fish in the sea, and I've always wanted to smack them in the face with the reality of all the whales in the ocean as well. Today we're going to be looking at the steamy dump of a toilet that is the Pokemon of Forgotten Lands and seeing what Pokemon can be buffed in what ways. I'm the FootLong, welcome to FootLong Flingers. Today's theme, fish Pokemon. First, we are looking at Bruxish. Nah, I'm just playing. I actually feel Bruxish has quite a unique competitive niche and a great spot for itself. So, we're actually going to be looking at Lumineon. Now you may be asking who. And if you're asking who asked, you can go paint the walls with a vibrant shade of ruby. But if you're asking who Lumineon is, that's a great question. Lumineon, as well as a few others on this list, are pure water types with no distinct meta niches or unique spots it can fill. Let's actually jump right into the areas where I think that Lumineon thrives. I think that Lumineon is a great support Pokemon. What we actually have to see is that Lumineon has a myriad of moves that are absolutely insane. First, Defog. Defog's a great option to clear hazards. We have U-Turn for good momentum, we have Scald for burn, we have Toxic for pressure on some tankier Pokemon, Tailwind for making sure that the battlefield is in your favor by having fast Pokemon, and we have Rain Dance, which can pair with its ability Swift Swim and Set Rain, of course. But let's actually look where Lumineon is completely screwed over. Its stats. Lumineon has a base 460s, base stat total of 460, HP 69, attack 69, defense of 76, special attack of 69, and a special defense of 86, its speed being 91. It's not going to be winning any speed matchups at all, unfortunately. But that's where its abilities come in, being Swift Swim, Storm Drain, and Water Veil. We see that Lumineon's considered pretty underwhelming in competitive play, and it only really has like these two niches of utility and support, and its rain support. Because it has Swift Swim, its speed can be doubled in the rain. As its Rain Dance, it can set up the rain and create some synergy with other water types. And it does get Hydro Pump and Surf, which are some powerful stab moves, but I simply don't think that this is enough. Lumineon has very few reasons to be used over other water types. Defog users like Swanna or Silvally Water, and Swanna has reliable recovery and offers more offensive pressure with his secondary typing, while Silvally he's a tank. You simply can't beat Silvally, and it has a better speed tier. And Lumineon has kind of mediocre stats, which gives it trouble switching into moves that deal offensive damage. Its lack of reliable recovery really furthers this, as well as its susceptibility to all entry hazards and weakness to Toxic from hazard setters like Regirock and Alolan Sandslash. It really leaves Lumineon struggling as a defogger. Jellicent is a far better defensive water type by virtue of its superior bulk, access to recovery, and secondary typing, ghost typing. So, we have just this forgettable fish, mediocre stats. It has a lot of utility options, but it simply can't do anything. The way I think we buff Lumineon is actually by giving it the move Tail Glow. Tail Glow raises its special attack to 2.5 times special attack, and with the ability of Storm Drain, this Pokemon can switch into water type moves. If paired with Focus Sash, you can use Tail Glow to get your attack off. If somebody else on the battlefield has already set up a Rain and you decide to use Swift Swim instead, or if somebody else on the battlefield has Tailwind up, you can already have very fast Pokemon that can either bulk out with Storm Drain or get insane special attack boosts through its ability, and it's just a good revenge killer as virtue if it had Tail Glow. It's also really good canonically because it makes sense with Lumineon being the luminous Pokemon. Tail glowing, the Pokemon that glows, it simply makes sense. Now, let's go on to our next Pokemon, which is going to be Vascular. Oh, they. Oh, they already tried that. Okay. Let's go on to our actual next Pokemon, which is going to be Octillery. Octillery is a base stat total 480 Pokemon with a HP stat of 75, attack stat of 105, defense stat of 75, special attack of 105, special defense stat of 75, and a speed of 45. It also has the abilities Suction Cups, Sniper, and Moody. Now let's actually go through and look at its abilities. First, Suction Cup. This Pokemon can't be forced to switch out by any Pokemon's attack or item. It's a alright ability. It's pretty good, but it's simply outclassed by this Pokemon's other abilities, being Sniper, which if a Pokemon strikes a crit, it's multiplied by 1.5 times, which you can pair with the Scope Lens, which makes critical hits happen a lot more often, or its hidden ability, which has been something used in the past a lot more, where we raise 2 random stats and lowers another stat by 1 by the end of each turn. Some common playstyles on Octillery use its wide move pool like Hydro Pump, Fire Blast. We also have Ice Beam and Energy Ball because this is a special attack focused Pokemon on for the most part. But this allows for coverage against Grass and Steel, Fire and Dragon, Water and Ground. These are all very nice. We also have Scald on this Pokemon, which gives a burn chance and is also just another great stab move, which makes this Pokemon a pretty good special attacker. We can also look towards the support area where we see Toxic, T-Wave, and Protect, of course, where we offer support in a couple of different areas, or we can try to see its most gimmicky area where it's a Moody Sweeper, where we have the unpredictability of Moody stat boosts. This Pokemon does get Substitute, which it often plays with, and of course pairing that with Moody is going to be, and Protect is going to be very effective. Octillery might appear to possess some potential with its good special attack and vast move pool, but its lackluster speed and bulk give it a more than difficult time to switch in safely. Octillery faces overwhelming competition from Ludicolo and Choice Specs Jellicent as a water-type wall breaker due to them having far more opportunities to switch in by virtue of their secondary typings. Octillery can only use its poor speed to its advantage in Trick Rooms, which I already stated, but it also faces competition from special attackers like Bohemian, which bears a better offensive presence through Nasty Plot and a higher special attack. Now this Pokemon does not get Nasty Plot, which does mean that if it is going to have a high enough special attack to utilize anything, it's going to need to use Moody, which is a little bit gimmicky, or it's going to have to use Choice Specs, which is something Octillery doesn't like being locked in, especially when it has no other real reliances when its speed is so low. Now, many of you may be asking, how do we actually make this Pokemon unique and fix it really? I would suggest we give it a signature move. Unfortunately, Game Freak beat me to the idea and ruined it. So, instead of giving it Octozooka, which is base 65 power, and is already no longer a unique signature move, as it's on other Pokemon, I say we lean into a better signature move that works well with its ability, and makes it very similar to a special version of Drapion as a water type. So, I think we give it a base 70 special attack power water type move, with a high crit chance, similar to Drapion having Slash, Night Slash, Cross Poison, etc. And then it can work well with its ability Sniper, which already makes it so its crit damage is doing a lot more damage, which will pair well with Octillery's pretty good special attack stat, and give it Scope Lens, which can have the critical rate be raised up even higher by default, which will, I think, build a little bit of a niche for Octillery. Now, let's take a look at the twins, who are the Pokemon equivalent of binging and purging. Huntail and Gorbis are both so bad that they aren't even covered in smog and in the National Dex tier. So all of this information is straight from me. Let's look at stats. They both have an abysmal speed of 52. They both have the Swift Swim ability to try to cover for this, but the unfortunate thing is there are just a million other Pokemon with Swift Swim that are much better options. Hell, if I want Huntail, I'm just going to run a Poliwhirl or Poliwrath, because it is simply much better of an option. These Pokemon are simply lame. Do they have Shell Smash? Yes, they do. But what is Shell Smash going to do for you when your speed already blows dick? You can't double your speed and simply hope everything's going to get better. You also have to activate Swift Swim. Those two things together are not going to help you. And the special attack minus, the special defense minus and normal defense minus are already bad enough. Yes, you can run White Herb, but these Pokemon desperately need other items to help them in general. Look towards the Pokemon that do their job better. First is going to be Cloyster and Barbaracle. We see that with Shell Smash Sweepers, there is higher defense, multi-hit moves like Icicle Spear, and better overall bulk. And then with Barbaracle, there's better physical attack and access to Stone Edge for added coverage. If you want, you can make this thing a Baton Pass user, but literally that should never happen when you got things like Smeargle and Ninjask that exist with speed boost and I mean, well, you know how Smeargle is. But for Huntail also, you can find that the same exact issues happen. Huntail can also be a little bit more of a mixed attacker, but you can also have Kingdra or Greninja on your team with better stat distribution for mixed attacking and Swift Swim access on Kingdra. And for Greninja, higher speed, Protean as an ability for stab on all moves, and a way more diverse move pool to make it way better of an option. The real overall conclusion is that it just needs better options. My way of making these two mons viable is that they need a unique and memorable ability that fit its backstory. So I say, for their ability, they are going to have an ability very similar to Wind Rider on Shiftry. One of the abilities is going to be called Pearl Jam on Gorbis, and the other will be called Echolocation for Huntail. These both fit both of the Pokemon's backstory, really, and it gives them a great option. Also, what we need to do is give Trick Room to Gorbis so it can actually function in a manner that is normal, and Huntail is going to get Skill Swap so then it can be used viably on Gimmick teams and trade off its ability Echolocation. Now, what these abilities are going to do is make it so any sound-based moves will give these Pokemon a boost in attack or special attack. Special attack for Gorbis, attack for Huntail. And what it's going to also do is make them completely immune to sound-type moves the same way that Wind Rider does for Shiftry and Bramblegast. This will give these mons a unique spot in the meta and give them a niche.